Rosa. Everybody, how's everybody doing tonight? Everybody doing good? How you doing? Yeah, it's nice to see everybody out here. I'm glad you all came. Let's see. Welcome to all the master gardeners. And we have some interns here tonight. Visitors. Okay, they appreciate it.
So the guest can. Yeah, so it's working. Okay. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. Thank you. And also, we have one of the things that on technology, you know that we have some members who can't come to the meeting. And so what we're hoping to be able to do is do video meetings, the presentations, and so people can actually see them at home. They can't come to the meeting. We want to be hybrid, okay? We want to use the technology that we have. However, okay, that means that we're using the owl. Okay, now, you all know about owls and their ability to turn their heads 3 yards 60 degrees, okay, spot prey. Okay, so there's a machine back there that does the same thing, it's recorded, okay? So, like right now, it's looking at me, okay? You make a feed, it's gonna look at you, you are the prey, okay? There's a little mouse that's gonna hit you next. So, if you don't want your face to be on a big screen or something in Zoom, you may want to not have any. Just as an FYI, okay, so quiet, good. So you're warned, you better, unless you really want to have her attention, to follow up. Yeah, they're actually really cool. If you haven't seen it in 360-degree classroom, it's actually really very cool. All right, so how?
Okay, you can.
Basically. All right, so I think I'm ready to turn this over to Peggy. Where's the you are? All right, so we're going to make this motion. All right, we're going to introduce our speaker, and then we'll take away. Good evening. We're delighted to have someone quite special. Her name is Anne Cartwright. She's formerly from Louisville. She went to school many years, getting a doctorate at Ball State University, and she taught biology there for 25 years. Her primary focus was in zoology, but like all the people, they come to realize how important plants are. And knowing that those plants do things are greater than the energy of sunlight. And so she has become a lover of plants and created a backyard and a yard that in front too that makes something some of the better things. Her yard just a kind of a sea green, a variety of her trees. So obviously for hostas, she loves billboards, all kinds of maple trees, Japanese maple, as well as many of the other trees that we love too. So I found out that she's a naturalist. She knows about rocks, she knows about a lot of animals. So she's quite a gal. So there's lots of good questions that we can ask her. She created a rock garden in the yard, a pond, and has several flower areas that I think will be very interesting to explore because we're going to have it. Thank you for coming.
Can everyone hear me? No. Can't hear me. I got to use the microphone. Okay, probably a problem there. The one thing I'm concerned about when I fall over something right here. Here's what I'm doing. One of the things I had a list up there for people to sign Sorry about that, folks. We gotta go back to the very beginning. Too many things in my hand. Okay, we try this another way. I don't know what I'm saying, but, I'll talk about hostas and, go pretty fast, because I understand you talk typically about, 35, 45 minutes. I usually talk for 8 minutes, so if somebody tell me to shut up or raise your hand, whoever's in charge, let me know you're getting that time. Hostas, and that's my email address if anyone wants to get in touch with me. I have sign-up sheets there. I can't believe I keep doing this. If you want the hostas of Kentuckiana, I do the newsletter for them. That's Kentucky and Indiana Hosta Club, unique in Louisville. If you want a copy of it by email, if you'll sign up and give me your email address, I'll send it to you. The next one is coming out next February, maybe. We'll be quick for the year. But, anyway, I'll continue now. So if anybody has a problem hearing me or seeing something or they don't understand what I'm saying, let me know. Hostas, you'll probably know what they are. I hope I have brought into the microphone. Oh, you can't hear me. Okay. I'm no good with a microphone. I want to have 3 seconds with my hands. I have 2 hands. Can you hear me with the microphone? Yes. I think it doesn't make any difference to me from here. They're native to Japan, China, Korea, and a few places in Russia. There are the requirements: average summer temperature, which used to be sort of like around here, not anymore. They do require water, and they do require a dormancy during cold for a few weeks in the winter. They go dormant, they're totally inactive in the winter. If the temperatures are warm, they don't do well. In fact, this for green shows you where they are in the United States. This is where they grow the best. If you want hostas in some of the southern states, you're going to have ones that have hosta plantagenea in their ancestors. They're first introduced into the country in the 1800s, and they were referred to as the genus Funkia. So sometimes people refer to them as Funkia, and then the common name was plant lily, and sometimes people ask me about plant lily, and I don't know what they're talking about. They're shade tolerant. They do require sunlight. They're herbaceous perennials. They're monocots, if you know what that means. They're grown mainly for their foliage. They do flower, and a lot of people grow them primarily for their flowers, although they're not what you would call a typical flowering plant. In the sense that this is what you're going to have in your garden if you're interested in flowers. Plants in my yard are grown primarily for their foliage, whether they're tall or trees or whatever. Hostas come in all sizes, leaves, shapes, colors, etc. This is a typical plant. I'm sure you all know what a typical monocot leaves look like. You have the flowers on the long stalk, which is the scape. The leaves, monocots, so they're parallel venetion, the blade and the petiole for the leaf. The roots down here, this is the crown. The crown with the roots on it. The crown is essentially a modified stem. And using those hands. There are 2 major groups of hostas based on their crown. There's the clumping form, as you see on the right there. The roots all come off. Now these will spread, but they're going to spread from one point, like this. So you'll have a plant here, and then maybe you'll have a plant number of crowns, but it's not creeping along. The other type, they spread the rhizomes. This is a modified stem, runs underground, and if you're a really good gardener and really pay attention to your plants, you can make it. I have seen nice little borders of particularly some of the miniature hostas, but it takes a lot of work. They will spread that way. This is a typical crown. You see the roots. This is the scar from a previous year growth. Here are 3 shoots coming up. here's three shoots coming up. And you'll get more. In the spring, when the plants first come up, they're putting their energy, which is stored up the previous year. They've been dormant all winter. The energy stored up is going to go into producing leaves. In the summer, it's going to go for the flowers, and then in the fall, it's going to go for roots, getting ready for the next year. Winter, they are dormant. Each shoot release, I don't know if you remember this years ago, or already realized what it means if you get rid of that comma. But anyway, with hostas, you can eat the shoots, the leaves, and even the flowers. All parts of the hostas are edible. In the Orient, where they grow quite readily, there are a lot of recipes. In fact, I put recipes in our newsletter sometimes with hostas. There are about 38 species of hostas. Only about half of those are really important in horticulture. There are well over 6,000 cultivars, varieties of hostas, and they keep multiplying. And a lot of what you will find, particularly if you look at all of them, they look alike. There's some that have different names. You're probably familiar with this with other plants. They probably shouldn't have been given a separate name. Color, they come in virtually all shades: green, various greens, dark green, light green, Costa Rica blue. This has some blue on it, some more blue. The blue is due to a wax coating. If you handle the leaf, you're going to wipe it off. If these don't do well in the sun because of the heat, it'll melt the wax. And with the summer temperatures we've been having, it doesn't matter whether in the sun or the shade, the heat will melt the wax. So the blues, you got a cool place, that's where you want to plant it. Some more blues. You want to keep in mind too, and I mentioned this, the Hester blue just reminds me, one of the friends in our club got one of these plants. It doesn't look that great. The sale was in August. The hostas are going to look their best. They're going to look like the pictures you see in the internet in the spring when they first come up. And then they change and they don't really decline so much as they don't have whatever their characteristic was. Not that going to show up that much later in the year. Yellows. Well, black hostas. About looking right yet. This one. White hostas. The white hostas don't do that well. They're not that strong because they lack chlorophyll for their early part of their life, and some of them never do develop a whole lot. I've had luck with the ones I've tried, like Outhouse Delight. It turned green, but then it didn't come up much beer. Red. This is a big thing now in developing hostas, getting red into them. Up in the petioles, up into the sites, up into the leaves, the leaves themselves. And even into the flowers they're working on. Come out recently. Variegation. This is a big thing. You can have all kinds of combinations of the green, different shades of green, white, cream, whatever other colors they have, you name it, they come with it. Autumn frost, of course, it's going to look the best in the spring. So I would have named it something other than autumn, but beautiful plant growth. Here you see different kinds of irrigation. This plant, and everything I've read about this is part of its genetics. Alliteration. It looks to me like it's a hosta that has virus X, hosta virus X, which I'll mention later, is bad. But apparently this is part of the plant's genetics. But it sure looks like a funny plant. Split milk looks like somebody spilled a little milk on it. And sprinkling in, that's really beautiful, but you see you get a lot of variation in one plant. The basic plant is there, the colors, but all the leaves aren't the same. If a variegated hosta starts showing solid leaves, you want to cut the solid leaves off. If you separate the plant, separate it out, you find a crown that has solidly get rid of it because the solids will take over. Why? They're stronger because they got more chlorophyll. So you bought a variegated plant, you want to keep it variegated, you got to keep that solid one. It's reverting back to one of the parent plants. Texture, smooth, corrugated, puckered, tough, you name it, they come in. This is a smooth one with a waxy surface. Nice, I love the veins. Puckered, really puckered. Really puckered. Drinking board there, they're cupped, and then the extrovert is cupped down. You name it, in the hostas you can get it. Substance, the leaf thickness, the thicker the leaves, the less trouble they're gonna have for the slug and the snail. Rhino hide, you think that might, that's got a thick leaf, yes. Abricini, yeah, it's got a thick leaf too. The edge, there, you name it in edges, you can do anything you want with them. And the shape of the leaf, jade cascade, the foliana, the heart shape. Combine them, you've got most anything you could possibly want. Size, the size of the mature clump. This is when the plant is registered. Theoretically, it's a 3-year-old plant. First going out on the market, the developer is registering it, and the size. One of the things that bothers me is the height of the width of the mature plum, of a 3-year plum, pentagram in 3 years, or the size of the leaf. The size of the plum, the American Hosta Growers Association, which I'll mention later, they do it on the basis of the height of the plant. And if you notice here, north, the plants are a little larger than to the south. But you go from up to 8 inches for the minis, up to 30 and above for the giants. Little hostas, get those that are 12 inches and under. In fact, I've got their book here, if anybody wants to look at it. I've got a number of books you can look at. That's the American Hosta Growers Association, and they have, the ones in the north are going to be above I-80. The ones in the south, they're talking about the general height of them if they grow south of I-40. And where are we? We're in the middle here. Kentucky, that's Louisville right there. The American Hosta Society, they're using now the area of the blade of the leaf, which is going to require some multiplication. Length versus width. And so you get something like this. Now, one of the things that really bothers me about all of these measures, those are giants. You're measuring height. Well, in my garden, or used to be in my garden now is terribly overgrown, but height, I got the sky's the limit. If I got a space between 2 plants, I need to know what's the width of the mature plant. What's the clump gonna be? And they do tell you usually, but just because you know it's gonna be a medium-sized hosta, it doesn't tell you it's gonna be this height and take up this much space, or this height and take up this much space, even though we're not talking about the ones that spread. So I always want to know what the width is. Giant, they're big. Large, they're big too. Medium, but you don't have anything to judge them against. The small, the minis, the miniatures, and these are the rage. You know, everybody loves these now, and they only take up less space. Don't take up much space at all. Some of these that spread and make nice little borders if you really are working with them. And for that's a dime there, I think. This is an idea of the size of the plant. A lot of people who grow miniatures, and that was what they're really interested in, they're probably going to keep them in pots. Not always, I have down in the ground. The miniature plants, first of all, they're going to be more expensive because they're more recent on the market. People are really love them so that you can charge more for them. They're harder to grow. One of the reasons they're harder to grow is because if you've got a miniature plant, It means the root system doesn't go down very far. In the winter, you have freeze, thaw. What happens? The ground heaves, doesn't help that root system at all. So keep that in mind when you've got miniatures. You want to be sure in the winter they're somewhat protected. And if you grow them in pots, I'll tell you about this later. You got to protect them as well. Flower color. I can remember at one of our sales, somebody asked me, what color flower does this have? It's either white or blue, purple sort of color. I don't know. But now they're basically these are the colors. But they're developing more in the color range. In fact, they're really working on getting red. I have not seen this flower other than on the internet, and I'm not sure that was enhanced. But they're getting red up into the sites. Going to be in the flower eventually. So that you do have variations in the flowers. This is one of my favorite hostas. The flower doesn't open. It's sterile. There are two other subspecies, one of which the flowers do open. You hear the flowers are open? Beautiful flowers open. I love it. And the other one doesn't even produce flowers. It just spreads out around. The trends in hostas bring new colors into the leaves, variegation, new colors into the flowers, texture, particularly the edges, and the miniatures. Everybody likes the miniatures. But here's some of the variations. You get all sorts of, it's one of the things nice things about hostas. You don't get bored with it. Miniatures, blue mouse ears, 2000 is when it was registered. I think in 2006 it became the first miniature to be hosta of the year, which I'll mention in a few minutes. But from the blue mouse ears, these are all mouse ears that have come about, different years given down here when they're registered. There's the next generation. You've got more relatives. You only got mice. Never mice do. They multiply. And they're more. I just bought one of these frosted mouse ears. In fact, I still haven't got it in the ground. But if you like, and some people do, they want mice, they want the mice. Oh my goodness. Now, through the year, if you're raising hostas, they, like I said, they're dormant in the winter. In the spring, they're going to come up. They're going to need water. They need about an inch of water a week. You want to water slow and deep. You know, everything. Best in the early morning. You want to fertilize your typical 12 fertilizer. Don't overdo it, but fertilize. If you're treating them for slugs, if you have a problem with slugs, I have had some people say they've never had any problem with slugs. The poisons for slugs are baits with the poison. So when you spread the poison, like slug it or any of these, they're treating for slugs, you don't want to put it up right at the plant. Because you're going to be attracting slugs to it, and they won't all get killed. So put them around it, put them in the grass at the edges of them. And people come in the spring and say, well, I got all these tiny holes in the leaves. Where are they from? Slugs? No, the slugs are, no, in the beginning of the year, the slugs are tiny. They make tiny holes. Later they get bigger and they make bigger holes. In the summer, they need water, about an inch a week. Again, you want to start checking for, and treating again for slugs. Nematodes, and I'll talk about some of these. Southern blight, virus X, there are problems with hostas. Not as bad as some plants. If they flower and you want to cut off the scape, that's the long stem and flower goes on. Some people don't like that. I actually had one woman, the only flowering plant in terms of garden plant that she had in her yard were hostas, because when they started to flower, she could cut it off before they bloom. Her dog got stung by a bee, which was attracted to flowers, and she got to the vet, and the vet was able to save it, but told her, if it gets stung again, the treatment won't work the second time. So she's very careful of not keeping any flowering plants. She's got trees and things that flower, but the dog's not going to, most of those don't hold. all bees that go around. But some people don't like these sites sticking up. I don't, no problem. Divide the hostas late in the summer or early fall. Keep in mind, if you divide them, you need to keep watering them. In the fall, you need to keep watering them. Divide them late summer, early fall. Early fall, you want to be sure, like August, early August, September, it's a good time. But you want to be sure that you're going to be watering them, and they have plenty of time to develop a root system to get established before they go dormant. So plant your new hostas in. And a lot of times too, that's when they're on sale. In the winter, keep watering until the third hard freeze or frost, because they're still going to join. Then they go dormant. Cut off the old foliage whenever you want to and start getting bad. And for goodness sake, put it in the garbage can. Don't put it in your compost pile. And that should be true for most of your garden plants. Winter storage, if the plant is not in the ground, it's in a pot. And some people, the president of our club, most of his hostas are in big pots. Yard of gorgeous. In the winter, you've got to be careful with these though. Put them in an unheated garage or a shed. Put them where they're protected up against the house, preferably on the north or the east side, so you're not going to have the sun on them in the day, and then they get cold at night, heat, cold, heat, that's not going to help them. Also protect them from rain, snow, ice, with the overhang. If they're outdoors, not under cover, lay the pots on the side because of the pots. If we have snow, if we have a heavy snow, snow collects in these, maybe freeze, you may have ice. As it warms up, maybe freezes again. You've got moisture going down constantly. These plants, they're dormant, they're in a wet soil. What's going to happen? Come spring, nothing happens, you dig them out, they're all spoiled. Dividing hostas, the best time to divide, well, spring, particularly before they really start developing their leaves. If it's a big plant, it's a whole lot easier to develop it before it's developed with big leaves. And early fall, you want to make sure there's going to be time for the roots to develop, for these to establish before winter comes in. No, it's close. I don't know what this winter's going to be. I mean, we're not supposed to have any more 80-degree weather. Maybe. Plant in the ground for the big plant now. But if it's a potted plant, you can probably put it in the ground now, unless you disturb it a whole lot. But if you're dividing a plant, I wouldn't divide it now. I'd wait till spring. You're going to want to divide a plant, dig it up, wash off the crown, get all the dirt off of it, so you can see what you've got, and then you're going to want to cut it. Obviously, where to cut this one. Now you've got two of them. You got your soil ready, you got water ready. Immediately put it in your pot, put the soil around it, water it, get it going again. Or put it in the ground. This one here you can see is a bigger plant, but you can see there it's going to be one cut right down through there. You're probably going to lose some of this original plant. Won't matter. Here we're going to divide this one. Nice and big. First of all, you got to dig it up and get it out, and now you've got it out on the ground, and you've got your shovel, and you can pretty much see where you're dividing it there, and then you're going to divide it probably through here, and back over there. You've got a number of plants out of this one, and you've got your soil all ready. So you separate them out, and this does take a bit of strength sometimes. Your spade, your knife, your fingers, soil, everything's ready, the water's ready. You got them planted in pots, and you're ready to go. And so now you put one of them back in to the hole you took the first one out. So can you tell which was before and which was after? And that's the before, and that's the after. The after was up here in the picture before. Pests, large and small. We'll start with the small ones. Nematodes, these are roundworms, they're microscopic. You will be able to see if they're, there because you get damage to the foliar in the nose. And it's gonna be between the veins. Like I said, these are monocots, so it means the veins are parallel. If you have damage that's restricted between the veins, that's your foliar nematodes. And there's not a whole lot you can do with them. Cut the plant out, throw away. And take the soil around it as well. Don't put another plant right there, it's gonna have the wind. Slugs and snails, they're relatively easy to control. They make holes. I forgot what this was. There were 65 ideas, slug bait, how to get rid of slugs. There's more now, I'm sure. You can make your own beer. In fact, one of my first contact with slugs, my husband and I were sitting out, this was our first year of marriage, we were sitting out in the garden area where we lived. My husband had a beer, set it down. When I picked the beer up, there's a big slug. They do like the beer, but if you don't want to waste your beer, just make your own. Because what they're going after is the yeast, the odor of the yeast is what attracts them, so you can make your own a lot cheaper. But there's a whole lot of things you can do. You can buy it. You can make slug traps, put the slug bait in these traps, put your yeast water in there, or put your leftover beer. Insects, there are a number of insects. I've not had much problem with insects on hostas, but there are a number of insects and you can break your insects. Salad bugs and pill bugs. These are a problem. Sluggo, which is for slugs and snails, will also get rid of these. And what they're going to get, these probably what pill bugs are. The leaves where they touch the ground, or where the little salad bug is, you can get it. You have to be found at the bottom of those leaves are chewed up. Now, if you had a beautiful hosta one day, in fact, I know one woman, she had a whole garden of big beds, they were all gorgeous, and the next day when she went out, they looked like this. Dug them up, the roots have all been chewed up, gone, the crown was just a shock. What is it? Mold. These are not mold. They're not mice. These are mold. And they can really decimate if you have problems with mold. Of course, the other thing that can do it too is a deer. Deer and hostas are reserved. And if you get deer in your yard, it's hard to keep them out. Unless you got a defense. They usually leave a leaf or something behind to let you know they're here. They're all up down there. Training that you found that disease, fungal disease, southern blight. That you see the effects, the leaves, the edges of them, tips of them turn yellow. If you look at the ground right around them, you may be able to see the white thread. This is the mycelium, the vegetative part of the fungus. And if you look real close, you can see the little round. These are the reproductive structures. And they're tiny, they're hard to see. Dig the plant out, dig the soil out, put it in a garbage bag right there, don't let it spread. You don't want these all over your garden. Hosta virus X, this is called virus, obviously. It was first discovered in hostas in 1996, now quite common. We don't have a good control for it. There are a number of things that are being suggested and tested. There's a lot of work being done on trying to control for virus X. One of the problems with it, it may not show up in a plant for 2 or 3 years. So you buy a plant, healthy, looks great, and then a few years later it has the virus X shows up. What it looks like. Does that look like alliteration that we showed earlier? You get all sorts of strange configurations in the leaves. Now, oil hostas are shade tolerant. They do require light. And the greens do best in the shade because they've got lots of chlorophyll. Yellows will usually hold their color the best. Well, the yellow color, they need to get some sun or they'll be green. The white areas, if you have a variegated leaf that has a lot of white in it, the white part typically melts in the sun unless it's a real thick leaf. And the blues, they're going to lose their color in the sun because that blue is a wax coated. The sun will melt it. The weather we've been having, 80 degrees, up in the 80s higher, the wax is going to melt anyway. Their blues are going to look their best early in the spring when the temperature is reasonably cool and they're planted in the shade. You can grow hostas in the full sun if they get plenty of water. I know a friend has got a creek, little natural creek. It's not a natural creek, water recycle. But these are very rooted plants, and you just put rocks on the roots of the plants from moving downstream. And they do quite well. Now, the blues wouldn't do well there. I mean, they might grow, but they're not going to be blue. Or you've got a pot with just gravel, so they're constantly in the water. Not in constantly wet soil. That's totally different. These are just some pictures of beds that have lots of pretty hostas in them. There's the shade. You can see there's some sunlight coming in. Here the pines are lifted way up. They get plenty of light, but there's shade there. Some of these are actually in my yard a few years ago, but these are some miniature and some small. If you don't have shade, there's a number of people that want to grow hostas, but they don't have shade, so they develop ways to have shade. These are some of the ways. Some of them on the north side of, say, the house of the garage is appropriately spaced. They may get someone or husband or someone to build some sort of protection from sunlight, give a bigger area on the north side of the house so they get some sun. Companion plants, these are just a few of them. Anything that's going to grow well in the shade, you can grow it with the hostas. Some of my favorites are epimedium or barrenwort. I call them fairy wings. Some of these are evergreen, some of them are not, but they go quite well with the hostas. Hugera, Hugerella, the coral barrels, do real well with hostas. Ferns, do real well. The one over here, this is a maidenhair fern, which is one of my favorites. If you've got a miniature maidenhair fern, it goes great with the miniature hostas. Of course, the fiddleheads go a good use too. This was my garden October 24th, and I'm not sure what year it was, a number of years ago. This is what it looked like this morning. I planted some hellebores. All this dark green here is hellebores. Hellebores do quite well in the shade. They're beautiful plants. I love them because they're evergreen. Now, and they're easy to control. I didn't have any problem with them for a number of years. I was hoping they would keep the deer away. Deer don't eat hellebores. The deer will stick their nose down through these scratchy leaves. You get to a hosta you can't even see. I was looking for that. There's a hosta there and it's not getting any sunlight. I'm trying to find it. I found it and the deer had left me one leaf. So I did that. But they're eating hellebores, a great companion plant. If you have deep shade, they do real well. Lighter shade, they still do well. They don't do well in the sun. They're easy to control. Most of them, their flowers go straight down. They drop their their seeds straight down. You get new seedlings coming up right below. Just back it up. Don't let them take over. I'll let them take over. This winter, and then early in the winter, what you need to do is cut back all the way to the ground, cut back the old growth. And the new growth that comes up will be the flowering part. And so there you'll have the flowers, and you can see it. They're not hidden by the old growth. And but you've got a hellebore that comes up, and it's got this nice little flowering part here, and it's actually gorgeous. And then a little later, the vegetative part comes up, and you've got this planters and fish. And they do the time. A hosta of the year, I mentioned American Hosta Growers Association earlier. American Hosta Growers Association is a group of, essentially hosta growers, and nurseries, propagators, hybridizers, anyone of that ilk can join. And they vote back in '96, they decided to produce a hosta of the year. And what this is going to be, it's a hosta that grows well in all the regions that hostas grow, that is readily available on the market, not rare, it's not just an release, and is a reasonable price, like $15 or less. And so there they are, so sweet on up, wrong one here, let's go back. Blue Mouse here is 2008. It was registered, I think, in 2008. This was the first miniature to make it to the Hosta of the Year. The club I belong to, Hosta of Kentucky, and we're putting a Hosta of the Year halfway or garden at Riverside Farm, Glenmorland. Do any of you know where that is? The southwest part of Louisville, a big park area and historic home. But we've got a Hosta of the Year garden going in there now. And here are a list of them. Neptune is the Hosta of the Year for this year, 23, and it was registered in 2006. Let's see. I put that on. I did put that on. So I've got this, sunset. Well, I hope this is like a good ending, but I do have a few more, and there are some handouts. I only made 12 of them. I don't print a lot. If you want a copy, and I think someone said they were going to make copies of them or make them available to you all, or if you got my email, I can send it to you. But these are some of the useful sites on the internet. I will do very quickly if you still got time, when I tell you one time. American Hosta Association, that's the national parent group. They got all sorts of stuff, $30 a year if you want to join, but there is a lot of information if you don't belong. We're in Region 8, and in March of the year, I think it's the second weekend, Friday and Saturday, we have Hosta College. In a building like this, not quite this big, but the career center in Piqua, Ohio, and it's a wonderful time. There are classes, you have 5 classes and lunch. You have lots of classes to choose from. A lot of them are hospital-related, shade plants, garden tours, garden centers, anything that you could possibly relate to hospital. Sometimes the relationship is a little hard to figure out, but it's there. But I think it costs like $42. Wonderful. And they have plenty of food, and they have big auction. They have lots of new plants. One of the problems, the hostas that are produced that are at the auction, a lot of the dealers put in some of their new plants on the market, and other dealers are buying them, and they're not too concerned with how much money they're spending. Partially it's donating to the regional aid, but part of it is also they want that plant. PlantGalore.com. They have a section there on hostas. But everything else here, I don't know if you can read it out there. There's stuff on gardens, landscape, plant, hardscape, plant care, not just hostas, it's plant galore. But on hostas, they got quite a bit of information. And the color garden species, that's a good place to go, whatever kind of plants you're growing. This is Hosta Library. If you've got a plant, you want to look the name of the plant, you want to look and see what it looks like. You've got thousands of pictures, thousands of cultivars, varieties. You know the name of the plant, the easiest way to find it is to look it up like K, you might have a 2 or 3 pages of K, under K, you'll have K, H, and K, E, and then K, E, that's some, you know, you find your plant. And you also see here, there are a lot of other things that you can click on here, one of which, well, simple, I'll get to that in a minute. Hosta Finder, this is, you can see in the background there with a notebook, listed retailers that offered certain hostas. They had listed the major hostas. I mean, the thing about this stuff. And under each cultivar, a list of the realtors, retailers that were selling them in the price, and also descriptions of them. Steve Green produced this. It quit after 2016. A number of years he's been doing it. Hosta Stores Association have continued it. The only thing is now you have to look up your plant. You have to type it in. You can't just go flipping through it. And go up to what nobody look like. And part of a breeding plant, you got to put each one of them in. But it'll give you all the information. Give you basically what you can expect to pay for. That's what they have. The American Hospital is really getting one of these. So that's sort of replacement. Hosta of the Year, that's also on the American Hospital Association. And then the hospital is, you think I'm going to propose it. Don Wilson produces this. There, you can look up the hospital, and let's say you're looking for the Blue Leaf Hospital. I think the first one up there is Blue Leaf Hospital. So you click on it, and it'll give you a list of Blue Leaf Hospital. Or maybe you're more interested in leaf surface. What's it, prickle, on the shape of the leaf size, margin. Our flower characteristics, they're more interested in the flowers. Yeah, I don't know what some of these are. Drawstring leaf hospital. I can imagine, but I don't know. Also, we go down further, under seed pods. We have one listing for seed pods, find habitat, habit characteristics, cultural characteristics, so on and so forth. Let's say we're going to look up. Well, here's the master list. You can click on it and you can download it on your computer because that's time and space. So that's why you can do it other than go online and do it. And I don't know how this actually set up. Say you're interested in a Blue Leaf Hospital. Okay. You can scroll down. I got 27 models. Go down 4 screens. Blue Leaf Hospital before you get to the end of that. And that may be, that's about the end of what I have. So if you have any questions, we've got time. I'll take any questions you have. Nobody said anything? Yeah, you.
You said earlier that if you have some debris, you don't want to put it in your compost. If it's not disease, why would you not put it?
If you're sure it's not disease, okay. But if you're not sure, and some of these, like a virus X, we don't know about, my compost bed is basically the clay I dig out of a plant supplement. I dig a hole, take the clay, put it in the compost pile, I take my eggshells in there as well. That's it. But if you're really into composting, if you're not, one of the problems with composting is a lot of the viral diseases, particularly the compost doesn't get hot enough to really sterilize it. Other questions? Yes.
I had some real nice hospitals for several years. I put some wood chips around them, and they all died. I'm curious as to whether they're gone good or whether you could do anything to. Somebody said that it sucked all the nitrogen out of the ground.
Okay, I'm having the people who work on my lawn, that's all they do is my lawn, or they will go get me wood chips big, large amounts of wood chips and spread them for me. I've put wood chips in my bed and I've never had any trouble. I don't know what kind of wood was it, or were these commercial, wood chips, or walnut wood chips probably would be one. A lot of plants do not grow well under certain trees like walnuts. I'm not sure about hostas. I don't know an answer to that, but I use wood chips. How do you, these, that's the two ways I control weeds in my garden area. Wood chips, and the other one going by string. Ivy. I don't do native plant. But I couldn't control the weeds without it. And they do quite well. Other questions? Yes.
Oh, they're probably 30 years old,
Yeah.
but they're like dead in the middle, and they're just coming up around.
Yes, that's because they don't live forever. They've been spreading and they've been spreading and they've been spreading. Some of the center part is going to start getting a little old and die out. So what you need to do is split it, dig it up, take the parts around the edge, and plant them, throw the center part away. One of the other things I will mention, a lot of hostas that were sold, say 20 or 30 years ago, 10 years ago even, wonderful hostas. They're hard to find now because there are new hostas coming out. And that's one of the problems with some of these. I mean, where do you buy hostas? You gotta get, you can find some of these, you have to hunt for them. And one of the nice things about the internet, you can put in some of the names of some of the older ones there are, and you will find some retailers who sell mail. And that handout I had, I brought only a few copies of it. Somebody said they would make copies of it available for you. I do have a list of mail order mail throughout the country, but there is most of them. You can mail on the internet as well. Old hostas, they do the whole plant doesn't die. But some of the plants, the really old ones in the center really die. Other questions? Yes.
What kind of pH do they like?
Yeah, some things sort of, they're not acid loving, or they think they should grow in most any normal soil. Your normal soil.
When you put those wood chips out, do you put the triple 12 or whatever on there also?
Yeah, put what?
Do you put fertilizer on?
Yeah, I just put the fertilizer on top of the wood chips. The rain is gonna take it down.
So that helps neutralize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I've never really had problems with wood chips. In fact, I told the guys who mow my lawn yesterday to get wood chips for me, and they're what color do I want? Oh, natural. Yeah. The guy next to me's got black. He just had his people work there. The other thing is, you're putting wood chips down, your particular trees, you don't want to put the wood chips right up to, thick layer of wood chips right up against the trunk of the tree. That's not going to be healthy for the tree. For one thing, it's really easy for little critters to crawl through that and chew on the bark and stuff. But the tree, so I try and leave a space about like this around the front of the tree. And my neighbor, I used to go over and move it, and I told him, people, I don't think she does that. Because if you thin it out, if you come to the tree, fine. But if you're throwing thick layers, not going to be well. Yes. That is one problem, you don't have good problems. That's one of the problems, a lot of trees, hostas. I've not had problems. They're not water maples, but, they're still growing there, on the tree. But if you have, particularly the trees that have roots that are close to the ground, close to the surface of the ground, they're going to be competing with the hostas. One of the things you can use, they make a fossil, I forgot what it's called. I think it's copper coated on one side, if you can put it down, copper side down. At the very bottom of the hole, and more dirt and stuff, and get the hops in there, and theoretically, the roots of the plant doesn't come up into that. The other thing you can do, and I have done this, not because I was concerned about roots, but for some of the miniature, double pot, in other words, you have a pot, regular, like you get the grocery of the nursery, and then same size of your plant you're gonna put in. Dig a hole, plenty big, put the pot down there. Take your plant here, put it in a pot, put it down there, and what do you do? Periodically turn that pot, so any roots trying to come through, or lift it out, cut off anything that's there. Any other questions? Okay, the only other thing I've got, if you all, and I'm not sure anybody did, had a sign-up sheet, nobody's signing up to speak up, but you're all gonna be drawing in this one. Okay, you can use this number again. Who's got number 227-429? 429. For hostas. If you don't want it, I'll draw another number. This is for cross, it's a medium hosta. You want it? You're the winner. All right, let's take our.
That was great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There's a book up here if you want to look at it, if you got time to look at it. No.
We're gonna take a 10-minute break while you spread your legs and then thinking about hostas, right? There's any. All right, thank you, Kathy. We'll file that for audit. Okay, hang on. All right. I don't want to be this evening's entertainment in my phone. Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is the project committee team leaders. Let's see, we've got Bonnie Cummings, Century Garden. Okay. And you.
Okay, I'm Bonnie Cummings and I have a Century Garden. And I want to know how many of you have not been to the Century Garden? Raise your hand. Be brave, be brave. Okay, I'm not going to ask you why you haven't ever been. I'm here to tell you that the Century Garden does indeed exist. And it's right there behind the Purdue Technology Center. And it's a little baby gym. When I say little baby gym, because it's probably 100 feet on the side and maybe only 50 feet on the edge of its little triangle. But it was built in 2012 and is now in its, 11th year of existence. And so it has kind of grown and grown. And some of the things that are in there have kind of gotten out of hand. But we're doing our very best to bring it back into control. And as you know, if you were here last year, that we had a daffodil sale that we raised $538 from. So we only get to keep that money for 1 year. That's this year. And I have been searching during the course of this year for an appropriate memorial for Helen Trueblood, who donated the 24 different dozens of daffodils from which we grew the sale last year. And I finally found one. And I have made a purchase, and if anybody wants to see what it's gonna look like, I did bring it to my purse tonight. I can bring it up here. 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that has the picture of what we're gonna do. We're still waiting. They're supposed to call me when it's ready, and we may not get it until December, but that's okay, we can handle it. But we finally found something at Charlestown Monument to be able to put in the garden and give ourselves a memorial to Helen for all of those daffodils. I don't know what we're gonna do in the next, month before Kathy kills me for not having turned in a, but, I wanted to have some extra money to repair all of our, signs. But I haven't found anybody who's actually willing to do what I want them to do. So, it may be that, repairing the signs is not gonna be in the future for 2023. However, if you have not been to the Sensory Garden, I invite you to come by, and if you want a guided tour, call me, send me an email, whatever, let me know, I'll meet you there. Because everybody ought to get a chance to go visit our very tiny little Sensory Garden that's right there behind the Purdue building, not running away anywhere. It's very close and very easy to find. Any questions? It's me, that's the rule of the game as far as, executive board is told. So, and it's just the way it is. Isn't it, how many, veterinarians do you have on your team that work with you? 15? Oh. And nobody, we never have all 15 at any one given time, because if we stood, shoulder to shoulder, then we couldn't find the leads pull them out. So basically, we're divided into little groups. There are a couple of people who have worked independently to do some pruning. But I only trust people to do pruning that I know how to prune. And for the rest of the time, we have scheduled work days. We try to do Saturdays and Sundays for those of you who are working still. And so we have a few people who, if you're retired, you really don't want to work on Saturdays and Sundays. So that's mostly the people who really need their hours. And then I have a watering crew, and I have 7 people who are regulars on the watering crew, and they alternate. I send out a notice at the beginning of each month with each week set out, and then somebody volunteers to go and water 2 to 3 times a week so that we can keep things alive, because we lost our water system about 5 years ago now, and so we are reducing to having to use hoses to get water to that garden. Anybody else? All right. It's there. We put in 2012 or 13, probably the last year before we put in signs. They're aluminum, and they have a little J at the bottom of them, and we buried them in concrete all those years ago. Okay. The problem is that they're kind of short, and we have had a lot of frost heat with those particular variety that we got. In addition to which, people who use the rest of that Purdue campus for walking their dogs are sneaky. What they do is they put their dog on a leash and they walk along the path until they're sure nobody's watching. Then they let the dog loose with the leash still attached. The dogs run right through the garden, and their leash is attached on those little signs, and yank them right out of the ground, and some of them are broken in half. We have had a lot of damage to those signs. So the ones that we can repair have they have to have a special kind of glue that holds them together. And I really want to cut off the bottoms of them so that that little J doesn't exist anymore. I can hammer them into the ground and not use the concrete anymore. I have succeeded in getting the concrete off of all of them by one force from. But I haven't found a way to get them Yeah. If anybody knows anybody who has a board, some kind of machine that please let me know.
Fine, I'll ask Nick.
Pardon?
I'll ask Nick.
Okay, thank you.
If you send me one, it'd be easier if I show him, try to explain one.
Well, I can bring them anywhere, anytime. Anybody else? Thank you. Thank you, Donna.
All right, Kathy wants to talk about the master gardener.
We've been fortunate that Nick and Lisa Smith have again donated mulch, wood mulch to youth garden to put down in our aisle. And so we have these wonderful pallets stacked with wood mulch out there on the edge of the garden. And we would certainly love to have a few extra helpers, a lot of extra helpers actually, when we do the mulch. Right now, we're talking about October the 16th, which is a Monday. So if you think that you can help us out, just one time, one morning kind of deal, we'd be certainly glad to have the extra help. We have wheelbarrows to move the bags in and put them open and dump them in and smooth them out, that sort of thing. So, it's at the Youth Master Garden at the Georgetown Optimist Club at Georgetown. So, if you could send me an email or something like that would be fine. We appreciate any help we could get. Thank you. Yeah.
And what time?
Well, we haven't set a time yet because we don't know what the weather's going to be like. I would think it would be maybe 9 in the morning, unless it's really cold or something like that. Yeah, are you looking at children right now, or this is for the next person? This is for the garden. It's to put the mulch in the aisles in between the raised beds. It's like a and well, the kids are there in the summer, the 7 weeks of summer. Yeah.
Thank you, Kathy. All right, Elizabeth, briefing class. The cold is really good.
I'm really loud. It's my age. Everybody hear me fine? I have to check my voice. I know that it's good. December 2nd, that is the make and read class. Volunteers are needed. I have sign-up sheets. I did put them up last meeting, but unfortunately I did not know. Your assistance is needed. Anytime you can say you come and help. There will be 3 sessions. The first one starting at 9 a.m. on December 2nd. So setup begins at 7 a.m. Time. Yes. That is Saturday. That is a Saturday. The first Saturday in December. Okay. First session at 9 a.m. We're limiting the sessions to 1.5 hours. Okay. So this way we can leave at a decent time. For those of you who've been stuck there in the past, we're not staying here for. Okay. So the first session is at 9. The second session is at 10:30. We get a break. Okay. The final session will be at 12:30. So that way the sessions will end in 2. So that'll give us plenty of time to clean up. Again, you cannot use the dumpster at the facility for any of the greenery. So I need help so that we can have trucks access to, so we can remove all the leftover greenery and not leave anything there. The only thing that is allowed to go into the dumpster is trash and trash bags. Okay, so the newspaper, that's go in the dumpster, in trash bags. So, door prizes. Yes, we can do door prizes. We cannot do raffles. according to Purdue guidelines. It's a no. So, yeah. Love this case. But we cannot wrap with them, unfortunately. But yes, I would like to have 3 or 4 door sizes per session. Again, it's a thank you for the people that are coming. Thank you for coming and joining. Let's see. Greenery. We need greenery. We need pine, spruce, juniper, anything with berries. Huh? Magnolia is always a huge hit. Dried material. You have supplied so much in the past, and it has been wonderful. Yes, we need it. If we supply all of the material for these individuals to make the beautiful creation that it is. So I'm pushing it down early, but next meeting I will have a sign-up sheet. I have just a volunteer sign-up sheet and a table for refreshment sign-up sheet right now. But next class, I'm pushing further. Okay, I'll have more specific things so I can have groups and sign people up in specific groups so I can contact you. Okay, go makers. You know who you are. I've seen you walk around in every hall. Please let me know if you are able to come, because your skills are definitely needed, because with the addition, they get it all. Again, okay, good, sign, try, I accept that. Got skills, but not that. Let's see. Any questions? Please contact me. Yes. Questions?
Well, I just think you were there last year.
I have been there the last few years.
Yeah. So, last year, we covered doing the 3 sessions, but I noticed, especially for that early morning session, people realized they only had a certain amount of time. They want to get there early, get their place, and all that. And the line was standing way outside, freezing. I don't know, I feel like we need to have a talk about that. We need to be a better way to get them in quickly.
Yes.
You know, that the 2 people registering.
And Jeff Rose has agreed to actually do pre-registration. Talking with Kathy, Zelly is available, but we have to use our master partner email as a phone number, maybe you are familiar with that. So there are things that I'm still working out the logistics of, because that way, like I said, it was cold. You can get people in, they can get to work.
I was so proud of when they do get it.
It was a massive mess. I remember. I'm working on it. Any others?
Where is the television?
It is full held at the Clark County Fairgrounds. It is a community room. It's a big, yeah, right up to the right there. Any others?
Since I hear people asking about it, if you're interested in volunteering, maybe if you're getting in touch with you, you might have a group together to teach how to make the room.
I'm planning on having a really quick demonstration next meeting to show you, give you a visual, see how easy it is. Okay, because it is easy. I did order the twisters to you could have them instead of waiting till the last minute and everybody else is ordering the twisters. John, to go. Okay. But yes, but please contact me. My name is Elizabeth Raleigh. I'm in the directory. I don't carry my cell phone with me all the time. I have to respond to phone calls and texts and email. So if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. That's all I've got.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. Louis, where you at?
Thank you all for those of you that have completed your form for your Bluebird Trail, the monitors. Those of you that have not done so, please do so as soon as possible. I'm going to try to get the numbers all out to you in October so that it's more meaningful. rather than drag this thing out through the winter. And so if you can get them to me as soon as possible, I appreciate it. And if you need a form that for some reason you can't print off the form that I sent you by email, I've got some with tonight, so. And as far as work days, we'll probably be scheduling some work days, later in October, as several of the trails meet small amounts of work. We also have a 50-box trail that we're gonna be installing up on a golf course up by Gordon. And so, that'll be in November though. We have to get a little rain and a little moisture in the soil so we can drive the people. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, program for the meeting. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Christmas dinner and, so it is going to be our December meeting. It will be like last year. The catering department here at Prosser will, be the ones preparing the meal. The meal is a choice of 2 meats, 2 vegetables, a salad, rolls, drinks, iced tea and lemonade, and cheesecake. The price is $20 a person. That's what it was last year. And, we will be taking money also at the November meeting. If you want to go ahead and send your payment in to Kathy, you can to our PO box. We will be having door prizes. One of them, we hope, will be $30 to somebody to reimburse that person for their membership dues. There will be centerpieces, and those will be raffled off too, like we did last year. There'll be a slideshow. So I'm asking the project chairs, and I brought a couple of extra business cards. I spoke to Gina, office assistant, who did our slideshow last year. Her name is Sarah. Is it Batcher? Fokker. Fokker, okay. She did the same telephone number as Gina. Her last name is spelled Bacher. I have, her email address is Bacher, Bacher, at Purdue.edu. I have a couple of extra business cards if the project managers want to, get one. But we need pictures. And you need to identify what project it is. Last year, we had a lot of the projects, send in information and pictures, and that will be playing while we have dinner. So it's really, really important that you get some pictures from the people that work in your project, or any events that we've had that you have pictures of. Get them in as soon as possible. That way she has plenty of time to work on it, because it takes time. Programming it. We need some volunteers. We've lost some people this year, and the more people that we have that volunteers, the more ideas we have, and the better it works. You all gave us a bunch of ideas. We're pretty much through all those ideas, and we're still lacking speakers for some of the month. We put together programs so that we have a schedule of them, so that we can get it to Kim Davis, so she can put it in the January newsletter. And so when we have an intern class, Gina has that information to give to the interns, so they know what's coming up.
in 2024. We have, 4 people on the program committee, plus myself. And we had 8. So we would like to have some volunteers. If anybody is interested, please call me or email me. My name and numbers in the directory. We meet, usually we start meeting in September and we meet until we get everything put together. And we usually try to end up by the middle of December. So we're contacting people that's going to speak a year ahead. So if anybody has any ideas too, for speakers, please let me know. It's really important. We normally don't use the same speakers for at least a 2-year interval. That way we're presenting to you all something new and different and interesting that you haven't seen last year. So, again, if you have anything you want to give, and we put together some really great advanced training too for next year. There's 3 of them. We are going to go to Turtle Creek Winery, the Botanical Gardens, and then we're going to try to do the Crescent Hill Garden tour at the Peterson Duvendale House. Right now, we're working on trying to get a discount as far as prices. We've been able to do that for a lot of previous advanced training. So, you know, it takes a lot of work in programs, but the more people you have, the less work per person. So, just consider it. Is any of the project managers, do they want a card? I've got a few here. Sure.
That's all I thought. Thank you, Mia. Okay, so now's your chance to really get involved in the Headmaster Gardeners and be on the program committee. So, contact Mia. It's a really good opportunity. And, Gina, would you like some time?
I can.
I, checked the, yeah, no one's here from the,
It's on the other one. We'll have to get the other one out. Don't worry, the camera's off of it right now. There's a few of you I have a bad history, but the camera's on top of them right now. By accident tonight. And so I maybe called someone else and then I came back here. City Hall Fourth Grade Field Trip, thank you very much. We have 1,000 kiddos in 2 days and only have 4 kids get physically ill. About 1,000, so that ain't so bad. I mean, $1 blanket, who ain't so bad. They use soy plastic, which I really liked. We won't do that again. That was a lot of work. But we'll make something else next year. So next year, plan the same kind of time frame. Want to help? I would take all the kids I can get because it does take a lot to get 500 kids every day through there. We have 3rd grade agriculture still going on. I'm still looking for volunteers to help with that. You can just sign up for one school of that one school. That helps out tremendously. We're doing a total of 10 schools this year because Holy Family wanted to participate. So just when I public schools, we added Holy Family with that as well. After our training coming up, starting in January, we have people that are interested. Have them email me and I'll get them on the wait list. I should be going out registration in the next 2 to 3 weeks. What else have we got? Yeah, if you want to help us, maybe let me know. Did you talk about the audit money for consultation for your year? We might need to cover that. So we have had at least one person reach out that needs some financial assistance to take the class. And the good board and I have talked about this. It's always a very fine line to walk. And helping someone in general, you want people to have skin in the game so we know that they are going to fit the game. So they kind of decided if you want to put it into a pot of money, And then as people approach me and if they verbally tell me, hey, going through class, but I need a little bit of financial help, then we can do that. I have a line item at the office for that. So if you're interested in saving, you can just hand me money, you can mail me money, you can drop off money, whatever, just make sure that we know that that's the pot of money that is going towards, it won't make anyone, like, it won't cover their whole cost, because it's about $180 to $200 for training, so it'll cover our portion, so they still have to front some money. What else have I forgotten, or we talked about money?
Do they get this money up front or after they finish the class?
So I have to pay for everything up front.
Yeah.
So it was the line item would be within my office to help cover their costs. They would pay my office a portion and we would cover from that line item the rest of it.
But it's up front. They don't have to finish the class. They drop out.
If they drop out, they drop out, but I mean, they don't, the one person that has reached out to me and I said, hey, this is what we decided to do, is it's static. She has been waiting for years to take it and, you know, whatever. Again, no one's obligated to do anything. This is just the best solution that we can come up with because we don't really want to advertise that there's funding available because then everyone wants it. Harrison County did it a little differently the last time they held a class and their club chose to cover $100 for everybody. And I don't like that concept either because that was about $1,000. And they're very small clubs, so this is the best one for me. If you have a different solution, let me know, but that was the best one that we can come up with.
Is it in person?
It is in person, so Clark County will be in person at the fairgrounds from 1 to 4 p.m. That night, my office in person 6 to 9 p.m.
Or you have to be required?
So they'll be roughly 40 people total. I think because this is Heidi's first time hosting the class, she's a little hesitant to do more than 20, versus me who that 1 year we rolled 66 people through here, in this building. So, it's a little bit different vibe for her and I'll be there the first few weeks to help her and then start to figure out the game plan and everything.
They're gonna be at the Clark County Fair.
It is. Yeah, so hers will be at the fairgrounds, mine will be at my office. Hers was before, yeah, mine is the Shiner, yeah. It's a Thursday, January 11th through April 15th. So if you want to help with that, and prefer to email me first so that I don't have like 50 people wanting to sit on the same class. I will get, as soon as I find one speaker, I have 2 holes left to fill. So once I fill my last 2 holes, then I won't have a schedule, but I can let you all speak. Questions about this now?
You need this,
We're not doing door prizes.
okay.
That's one more thing. We'll work on having snacks in person. What we've seen with Match is when the snacks are pre-bagged and stuff, there isn't as much socializing happening. So we're gonna try to do back some of more of the homemade goodies, to help with that socialization. Because we're just not taking the Match spot. We've done 2 classes this year, and they're just not the way they used to be. So.
So remember, you do help with the master gardener class, the new classes. We want to integrate those people into this group as soon as possible. So, you know, you always are friendly, but you know, chat them up.
Yeah, the conversations just aren't happening even among the Mass National. We took them all out to the state park and everyone drives a separate picnic table and no one talks.
Yeah. We lost the art of interaction. So, but you guys are really good at it. I mean, you know, so, we'll just absorb those people and it'll be great.
Yeah.
That's the goal, is to absorb all 40 of those people into this group.
The just 2 housekeeping, Monday is Congress last Indigenous Peoples Day, office is closed. Tuesday is pumpkin hunting at the office. If you're coming to the office, come before noon. I know some of you have meetings, we'll vacate promptly at noon so that we don't get you mixed in with the crowd because it's the first time in 4 years under a new admin that they're doing this. The apparently the Boy Scouts are in charge of parking. And then we're also closed election day also, and
in observance of that today.
Thank you, Gina. All right, I just have a few more items. One, I want to thank everybody who has actually, filled out the membership form and paid their dues. Don't forget to record your hours. December 1st is the deadline there. There will be a volunteer annual agreement form, but that you'll have to fill out, but that won't be live until like mid-November. We have to, wait for somebody else to do it. So a bit of a reminder about that. Also to, just to remind you, the Tomato Festival Committee, there's a sign up there if you're interested. We have our first committee meeting tomorrow, and from noon to 2 o'clock at the Shine Room, Purdue Tech Center. So if you're free and want to come join and figure out what to do with all those tomatoes, we're starting at the ground, so to speak, and growing our plant. Anyway, sign up if you want to be involved in that, or show up tomorrow and do it. Let's see what else is on my list here. So you've got, at least you've heard about one opportunity to become more involved in the Sunnyside Master Gardeners, by being part of the program committee. We're also going to need a member of our executive board. Our great secretary, Connie, has decided that she's one and done. That's a basketball term. So we do need some nominees for being secretary. And if you're interested, if you want to get into the nitty and gritty, behind the what is it they say in politics? Well, never mind. I'm not going to go in. Anyway, so just to get more involved in what's happening with the Sunnyside Master Gardeners, let me know if you're interested in being nominated for being secretary. If you want more information about it, we've got Connie.
I will say that wasn't going to be doing until the end of the year. This is for 2024. But I will say my reason for doing it is I just wanted something different, getting involved in some other projects. But one thing that has been very beneficial, it's really helped me grow and learn what's involved behind the scenes and what goes on in the organization and make this all work. And I've really enjoyed that. So it's really been interesting. So,
So let me know. You got this Thursday. Come talk to me after this meeting. Email me, text me, whichever. You've all got my emails and my text, my phone number. Let's see what else. Our next meeting is November 7th. Is that correct? Yes. And let's see. I think we have 1 hour for education. Is that correct? Yes. And then and volunteer hours. What we got here? Trying to do math.
well, it's been about 40 minutes, so.
All right.
45.
Okay, so 45.75 hour. Okay. All right, so 0.75 hour for volunteer. Okay. And that leads us to the next thing. We'll do the door prizes after we adjourn. And if you notice, we've got some door prizes over there. Anyway, let's see, what do we need? We need a motion to adjourn. Anyone want a motion to adjourn? We have a motion, okay. Okay, and then one second, we have a second right there, and put it down. Okay, and all those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. All those in favor, say fine. All right, so next we'll do door prize.